on YouTube. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes,
so
Prof. We can
Yes,
see.
sir.
what are you seeing?
Agenda for
The
episode
agenda
2.
for today.
Great. Okay, so like we normally start with, while we are here already, so let's just quickly write. You don't have to introduce ourselves, so just quickly write your name, current position, where you're joining us from, and then one main reason why you are joining ASMN 7.0. While we wait for a few more persons to hop in, so let's get it coming. I use the chat button, and otherwise we are good to go. Okay, so 1 more minute to actually respond to that. Okay, let's keep the comment. Thanks so much. So without wasting time, I know today's loaded. I want to
Deborah.
quickly. All right. So good evening from here from Nigeria. I know we have different time zones, so I can say good day or good morning. I know some people already approaching morning, or good evening, good day from wherever you're joining us from. Yeah, my name remains Evans Osabo here. I'm a professor of economics at Kuma University, Alta, Nigeria, and also with the privileged founder of DIaDeRC, the PECOS Institutions and Women Research Center. It's my joy to welcome us to the second episode of our 7th edition of African Scholars Mentorship Network, aka ASMN 7.0. So I want to start by welcoming us in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost, because we appreciate God as the one behind us. So last week, those who joined us for the first time, last week we had ASMN 1.0, episode 1 of this series. In case you missed it, please, it's on YouTube, free of charge, so you can please check it out and come on stage so all of us can be on the same page. So taking us further for welcomes remark, I was only mentioned that we should quickly use the comments, whether you are here on Zoom platform or on YouTube, quickly write your name and affiliation and location where you are joining us from. And one main reason why you are here in ASMN 7.0. Let's get the comments. Thanks for those who have already responded. So basically, the 7th edition, we have started that since 2023 with ASMN 1.0, and God has helped us to grow it consistently in terms of number to ASMN 7.0. We share it, we normally stream this one on live on YouTube so it can reach more audience, to particularly our catchment area who are early careers and also postgraduates, and as many as they want to make progress in their professional career. So today is ASMN 7.0 episode 2, and with us in the house, wonderful, strong African ladies that have made marks in their respective domain. This is the first time we are having this kind of a combination from a traditional angle, from the angle of medical science and also technological perspective. In the world of so many things, how do we balance work? How do we maintain work-life harmony in a digital world? And then what is the future for work? That is what we are dealing with today. So immediately after this, we're calling back. I'm going to invite one of our team members to give us their profile, and then we'll go with the first presenter, Dr. Gloria Imonopi, who will take us through that journey, from the medical perspective. We'll see her profile shortly. And afterwards, we go to Chinwe's, the tech and AI guru. And after that, we take Q&A for some time. So as they are presenting, you can begin to indicate your comments on the comment section, whether both on YouTube or on Zoom. So do the Q&A, we'll take them all together. Okay. So by way of welcoming us, we continue to next week, episode 2 and episode 3, episode 4, finally. We have mentioned last week that ASMN series 23 years this May, and we'll be happy that it's making progress. I won't take, so if you missed last week, please go through the video. We have covered all this last week, but I'm going to now introduction to ask me itself on what makes it very unique about going to our facilitators. So we saw that this episode 7.0 is one of the highest total registration, and also we have seen gender increase almost 47%, which is quite encouraging given the gender equality we are pushing also for the UN. Moving forward, is also look at the responses. We are seeing those who have joined us for the first time or more than 84%, and those who have been there from right from episode 1, who have been consistent also from across 1.0 to 2.0 till now 7.0. We are seeing that. Then what we reported again is the last week we saw that we have close to person for different countries in Africa, in Asia, in Europe as well, and also in America. We have them. They have countries joining us for the first time. The last of Equatorial Guinea, Mali for the first time, Mauritania, Nepal, Niger, Pakistan, of course, and then Saudi Arabia. So also showing that we are making impact, and we are sincerely grateful to God and our partners, facilitators, and also our team members for their efforts. So we're now going straight. I'll come back to closing the mic with other details, but we'll go now straight to hoping to present the profile of our facilitators as we go on. So we'll take the first one and we'll take the second one maybe, then with the start of. So let's welcome Timbers to give the profile of first presenter, Dr. Gloria Imonopi.
Good evening, everyone. I take the citation for Dr. Gloria. Dr. Gloria Bosede Imonopi is a motivated and goal-oriented consultant, public health physician in the Department of Community Medicine, Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, with specialization in epidemiology, health management, and policy and reproductive health. As a public health consultant, her work centers on health promotion and prevention to improve the health of the general public. She has been the focal person for gender-based violence in Federal Medical Center. She runs the Adolescent Antiretroviral Clinic, where hope, motivation, and mentorship are meted out to adolescents living with HIV/AIDS. As the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Wellness for All Initiative, an organization focused on healthy living, disease prevention, and management, she promotes healthy habits, training, and mental well-being among people of all ages. She is the current president-elect of the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, Ogun State chapter. She also sits as a board member of the Faculty of Public Health and Community Medicine of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. She holds Dr. This is Jim. Okay, so I go ahead to read Dr. Chinwe's citation as well, just for time, so that we don't read it twice. The first one is for Dr. Monopi. This second one is for Dr. Chinwe. Dr. Chinwe Peace Igiri is an accomplished scholar and transformative leader in artificial intelligence, AI, and education. She holds a PhD in software engineering from Amity University, Rajasthan, India, and serves as acting director for open distance and e-learning ODEL at Mountaintop University, as well as senior lecturer at Cavendish University, Uganda, and technical editor of the Cavendish International Journal of Science and Technology. Her leadership continues to shape digital transformation, AI literacy, and technology-driven learning across Africa. As a consultant for the Education Collaboratives Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Diagnostic ED2, Dr. Chinwe supports the design and implementation of frameworks that strengthen innovation and entrepreneurship in higher education. She also co-developed and facilitated a course on applied data science cards on the DIaDeRC platform, a widely published researcher with several cited works in reputable international journals. She remains deeply committed to advancing ethical, inclusive, and transformative applications of AI in education and research. So join me, welcome our facilitators tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So if we can clap, we do clap for them as we just take them one by one. I'll just we start with Dr. Gloria Monopi, and then we hop on to Dr. Chinwe Kripis. So in that order, please. Okay, thanks. Well, let's welcome them. Please clap your hands as welcome them. Thank you so much. So over to you, my. And like I said, as they're presenting, you can be noting down your comments so that we take them together. Great. So Ma, please go ahead and share your slide and then go on.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. and everyone. Thanks for having me here today. I don't know, can you see my screen now?
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Yeah, we can see it now. You can make it on full slide show, that would be great. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. All right, am I good?
Very good, Ma. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I want to welcome every one of us again to today's session. And I believe that we're going to have a wonderful time. The slides are a little bit much, but I'll try and explain as much as possible. So this evening, I'm going to talk about the maintaining work-life harmony as a professional in a changing world. I'm so glad that after me, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and all of that. So just to mirror the life of professionals in our today world, that a lot of times there are different scenarios that are different from the traditional one when we talk about work. So the context setting for our discourse today is going to be that because we know, as I said earlier, that nature of work has undergone rapid transformation. A lot of things have changed because of rapid globalization, digital innovation, and then the evolving professional expectations. And so professionals today are expected to be constantly available and to adapt and also to deliver on their different work schedules. And because of that, because of the access we have to modern tools that are shaping this new work environment that we have, there has been a shift from the usual traditional boundaries. There's no more clear delineation between what is work and what is personal life. We'll get to know more of that as we go ahead. And so we need to talk about this because this new lifestyle, let me say, or this new normal has actually led to a lot of increasing rates of burnout, stress-related illnesses, and then general workplace dissatisfaction. And so we need to start rethinking how to best fit this new way of work into our lifestyle so as not to have a deleterious effect upon our health and overall productivity of the professional and the worker. And so the session objectives are shown: a conceptual understanding of work-life harmony, examining drivers of imbalance in modern professional environments. Number 3, introduce practical strategies for integration and equip participants with tools for sustainable personal performance, which I believe is a priority for everyone, because the essence of work is for us to be productive and bring us something tangible So the work-life harmony, by definition, refers to the intentional, is a deliberate thing, alignment and integration of professional responsibilities with personal values, relationships, and well-being. Unlike, before now, where the traditional balance, talked about the work and the individual as separate entities. When we talk about harmony, we're talking about recognizing that priorities shift over time and and there's emphasis on adaptability rather than rigid separation. So, like I said before, now there's a definite work time, maybe 8 to 5 or nine to 6 or whatever the work schedule or that particular environment is. So there's a rigid separation. Work is work, and then personal life is personal life. But nowadays in this digital world, it's hardly like that, because at any point in time you are accessible, and so there is no clear demarcation between that. So we need to now shift away from trying to talk about distributing equal timing between work and personal life. So because there's there's dynamism, there's change, rapid change nowadays, on how we work, where we can work from, and even the time zones. We need to talk about having a balance, else it will be all work. There's traditional saying that talks about all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So work-life harmony allows fluid integration where priorities adjust based on the context, the demands, and personal goals, while recognizing that yes, work has changed. Work is not the traditional I go to office or I go to my business place and I go back home and I drop everything about work. We must talk about the fact that even while working from home, there must be a balance so that there will not be negative impact upon our health. So just this slide is just to let us know the evolution of work over time, the work balance. 1980s, we were talking about the workplace PCs, PowerPoint developed, and then the start of digitalization down to the 1990s, where there was the launch of the World Wide Web and the rise of emails. So even you don't need to wait until you get to the office before your assignments or new schedules are released to you. You can easily communicate through email. And then the 2000s, where we have the mobile phones, the app economy, and social media that makes more accessible and less hidden. All right. And then the 2010s, Google Docs, the Zoom, and then Lucy Chat came up. And present, we have a lot of the hybrid situation, the scenario where you have people working from home, doing remote work, and all of that. And so this is just another one. We can always go through it. But suffice it to say that nowadays, the hybrid model is much in place, where there's remote working. A lot of people now have to work from home or work from wherever they are. And so, like in modern times, the professional landscape has been shaped and is still being shaped by remote and hybrid work structures, as you said earlier, increased digital dependence, global collaboration across time zones, and rapid career transition requiring continuous skill development. Global collaborations across time zones, in the sense that different individuals that are working on the same project perhaps, and living in different parts of the world. Some people may be in the night or maybe in the day, like Prof was greeting us earlier, but they just have to work on the same project and deliver at the same time. So that also puts a strain on the professionals that are working. And then nowadays we have what we will call the always on culture. Like I said, we are less hidden, we are less restricted. There's less demarcation between traditional work environment and the home. So the rise of digital technology has blurred the boundaries between work and personal life, therefore creating pressure for constant availability. And that we see through emails, instant messaging, and all of that. So now work extends beyond traditional hours. Like I said, the strict 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 has been eroded off. And then there's more overload on the individuals. We shouldn't forget that we're talking about persons here, individuals that are working with their blood, though there's still some element of robotic work, but it takes humans to operate them. So the key drivers of this imbalance of work and life are excessive workload, poor boundary management, financial pressures, workplace culture, leadership expectations, and personal perfectionism. A bit. I don't want to enjoy too much on them. I think they are self-explanatory because of the fact now that it is not strictly you have files on the table to work on. You can have a gamut of emails, trying to talk about different schedules and things that you need to deliver on, and that can make one to obliterate the fact that there are actually boundaries, there are actually limitations that the humans can go. So we want to talk now about the digital paradox. While digital tools improve efficiency and connectivity, they also introduce distractions, fragmented attention, and reduced deep work capacity. That is also self-explanatory in the sense that this work overload is very subtle. Is, like I said, it's not the usual measurable one by physical activity as it were. And so technology simultaneously enables productivity and also undermines focus. We shouldn't lose track of that. That while all of these tools, so-called, as we mentioned earlier, are helping to put more productivity to the work, they also undermine focus. Remember that we're talking about remote working or situations where you're not in the traditional office setup. So now, because of all of these increase in workload and then stress-related activities, where there are impacts on physical health. So, and over time, it may not be immediate, but over time, chronic imbalance can contribute to fatigue, sleep disorders, that people will even just look at, oh, it's not a big deal. Cardiovascular risk, very important, reduced immunity, and sedentary lifestyle complications. A lot of those complications that we are aware of, that can lead to diabetes, can also lead to hypertension and other chronic diseases as we have it in modern life. And then very importantly, which sometimes is the overlooked, but thank God, like in other climes, even around here too, there's a lot of focus and attention being placed on it now, is impact on mental health. Because you can find some individuals, they have such a good constitution, most of this impact on physical health is not shown, but we find that the mental health, the danger there is that the mental health is not visible until a lot of harm has been done. And so professionals may experience burnout syndrome, they're tired on the same job, the same routine they've been doing, the work overload is much, and that can lead to also anxiety and depression, and the fear of inability to deliver as at when due, emotional exhaustion, and reduce job satisfaction as a result of prolonged imbalance. These are realities that happen to professionals in different work schedules. And so when professionals begin to have this impact on them, of course, imbalance are set in the work-life harmony. The impact on professional performance, work-life imbalance can also lead to reduce productivity in a bid to, it's like a graph, a chart. When you get to a peak period where you find that the productivity, instead of increasing in dimensions, has reduced. So reduced productivity, work-life imbalance can also lead to impairment of decision making because of fatigue, lack of focus. Then it can increase the likelihood of errors. Yes. And then there are some professions that you can't just afford to have errors because they are life determinants, and then diminishes creativity and innovation. And so this sustained imbalance can ultimately lead to career stagnation and reduce professional fulfillment on the long run. So if we have a scenario where what exactly we are trying to achieve, is achieved, but ultimately it begins to reverse back to have a negative impact on the professional. So career stagnation can set in, and reduced professional fulfillment can also set in. All right, impacts on professional performance. This is just a chart to give us an overview of what the work, what impact it can be on the work. So there's performance here, and then we have that there's the section where there's calmness, and initially is boring, the work is routine, is just something that we do all the time. Over time, it starts to get improved because of the tools that we have access to perhaps, and then you find the worker's performance increasing. At this level, the person is at the peak, energized and focused, and then this period is the stress. When we talk about stress, it's not always negative. We have the eustress, that is the positive stress, and then we have the distress. The distress is the negative stress. So stress in this instance is the positive stress, that you need some level of stress to add pep, to add the action to life. Without some level of stress, the adrenaline flowing and deadlines to meet, life will be really so boring. So we have that stress being whipped up by all of these technologies and stuff, and then we can get optimal productivity. But over time, the individual start getting stretched, because we are not machinery, we're actually still flesh and blood, And so before you know it, we get to the level of the distress, that is the negative stress. And at that stage, fatigue sets in, exhaustion sets in, ill health sets in, breakdown and burnout, as we have said earlier, sets in. And as much as possible, we want to achieve a situation where the worker doesn't get to the distress level. Otherwise, everything that has been gained at the level of the eustress, the positive stress, will begin to diminish, and that is not good enough. All right, so this is also just to let us know that the distress now, the negative stress, or the impact on employee productivity, it decreases performance and quality, it reduces motivation and engagement, increases health issues and absenteeism, adverse impact on work-life balance, increases employee retention, decreases energy levels, decline on decision-making abilities, reduces creativity, poor time management, and elevates the risk of burnout. All right, so the social and relational consequences also of imbalance between work and life can lead to strained family relationships, reduced quality of personal interactions, and social isolation. Over time, weakened social support systems can further exacerbate stress and emotional exhaustion. So you find that it's like a vicious circle that keeps going round and round, and the individual, because man actually is a social being, we recognize that aspect of man, and then anything that will disrupt man's work can also disrupt a social work. So the signs of poor work-life harmony, they are not far-fetched. Indicators include persistent fatigue, always tired, irritability, sometimes jobs that one can easily do before with ease and move on to other things, you get easily irritable because the focus is reduced. Declining performance, all of this, of course, will lead to declining performance on the same job where hitherto there has been good output. Lack of motivation, inability to disengage from work, and reduced satisfaction in both professional and personal life domains. Inability to disengage from work because your work tools are always with you. Like I said before, during the PC area, until you get to your office, you may not be able to access your computer to work. But now, right on your phone, your mobile phone, you are working at any time of the day. So when we talk about work-life harmony, there are core principles that we think about. And work-life harmony is built on intentional living, self-awareness, flexibility, and development of sustainable routines that support both productivity and well-being. We'll discuss some more on them. When we talk about work-life harmony also, we talk about basic pillars, frameworks that the pillars that hold that harmony in place, and they include effective time management, strategic energy management, clear boundary setting. We'll put some emphasis on clear boundary setting, alignment to professional activities with personal purpose and values. So we just run through this in a jiffy. Effective time management involves prioritizing tasks based on importance, planning schedules deliberately, allocating focused work periods, and minimizing distractions and unnecessary commitments. Those are all self-explanatory. The issue is not really knowing them. It is putting them to work, really, deliberately trying to, making efforts to put all of these things to work. So I think most of us should be aware of the Eisenhower matrix that talked about the 4 different quadrants: urgent, important, unimportant, urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. So I'll just go straight to the framework and what we should do with all of those things. So it's deliberately and intentional, like we have said earlier. So we put our work schedules, the things we have to do into these 4 quadrants. So we have the important and urgent. So we can do that, put our time frame to that and put our attention to it. When we have something that is important and is not urgent, we can schedule it. We can reschedule it, to fit a time that it doesn't have to be at that time. All right. Then when it is not important and it is urgent, we need to delegate. It's not important. Somebody else can do the work. Why you? So you delegate to someone else. And when it is not important and it is not urgent, we can eliminate. So it's individuals that by themselves, we look at these different quadrants and fix activities in there. For example, chatting or visiting may be in these areas of not important, just trying to keep in touch. And then it's not urgent, so you eliminate them. So if professionals could work with this, time management will be much easier and time will be allocated to priorities per time. Energy management, we talked about that. Energy management is more critical than even time management. Why do we say so? Professionals must recognize their peak productivity periods, incorporate rest cycles, and maintain physical and emotional well-being to sustain high performance. Yes, you must recognize when you work best. There are some people that early in the morning, that is when they work best at their workplace. So you put your energy into those periods and get as much task done as possible. Some people focus more, maybe in the afternoon, after lunch, or in the evening. So you focus your energy to achieve more. So the same thing here, we have focus, we have energy. What you focus on depends on what your energy is per time. For example, if your focus is low and your energy is low, at that time, you can't focus. Please procrastinate it. That is, you can postpone that particular task. And then you have a situation where the focus is very high and the energy is low. You can disengage. The reason is because the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. Sorry, permit me to use that. The flesh is weak, so the energy is low and the focus is high. So you disengage from that particular task for then. And you have a situation where you have high focus and then you have high energy. That is purposeful. Now be deliberate and do things that you should do in order to achieve as much things as possible in that time frame. And when you now have low focus and you have a high energy, you can't focus much. Distraction, you will be highly distracted. So understanding our energy per time will also help us to know what to allocate our time into. The second thing we want to talk about is boundary setting. A lot of professionals do not set boundaries in a bid to beat deadlines, in a bid to please maybe our superiors, or in a bid for self-satisfaction. We don't set clear boundaries between work and life. It's important to set these clear boundaries in order to be optimal in our output. So establishing boundaries involve defining work hours. I have some colleagues that will tell me once they get home, they drop their laptops, because once the laptop is out, they continue working. And then that will compromise what they should be doing at the home front at that time. So define work hours. What time do you have to work? Set clear boundary. Limit after hours communication as much as possible. And then create physical or digital separation between work and personal life to prevent burnout. You can set alarms. You can ask people, maybe loved ones around, to remind you in case you get home and you're already scrolling and looking for emails. Oh, I need to meet the deadline if I get to the office tomorrow, to let you know that, well, in case that work doesn't get done, the heavens will not fall. And then also, if one gets to do the work and anything happens, God forbid, and the person dies, we used to say in civil service that it is just 1 minute silence, and work continues, because there are always people to take over the work. So recognizing all of this, we make one to set boundaries, and not just set them, work with those boundaries. So by boundary setting too, professionals must learn to say no to excessive commitments, no to unsustainable schedules. You are not going to be that worker that anything is yes, everything is yes. I just want to get the prize of the best worker, or the most astute worker, or the best performing staff of the year. So because boundaries protect energy, they protect time, and very importantly, which may not be very visible, to protect emotional health. Now, purpose and values alignments. When we're talking about work-life balance, aligning professional responsibility with personal values enhances motivation, resilience is another word, and long-term satisfaction. So this makes it easier to sustain productivity even in demanding environments. There are roles for the organization to play, in case there are people here that are heads of organization, and then so that they can help in maintaining work-life balance among their employees. Organization play a crucial role in promoting work-life harmony by implementing flexible policies, supporting employee well-being initiative, and fostering a healthy work culture. Supporting employee well-being initiative, like you have staff clinics, and then you have the individuals are allowed to go. They are allowed to have day offs when they are really down. They bring sick call from the hospital or the health professional. The organization is ready to honor them. Although there's still a lot of dishonesty among employees, but that organization has a workplace policy of saying that we buy into the health of our employees. That could help. Okay, so establishing wellness program and initiative, promoting work-life harmony, commitment to flexibility, promoting a positive work environment, and fostering employee participants and feedback. So what's the role of leadership specific now? Leaders influence work-life harmony by modeling healthy work behaviors, not overburdening their work schedules, setting realistic expectations. Yes, there's so much now about people being paid based on what they can do. I think that is a performance-based payment for a lot of professionals, and so that puts a lot of strain on them. You find people that, because of the expectation that if you don't perform like this, you will not get 100% pay, you get 70% pay, and so the leadership should be able to set realistic expectation. The performance-based remuneration should be realistic and not out of the world, that will make people to be strained and therefore create work-life imbalance. Encouraging work-life integration and supporting team members' well-being, very important. What are the individual responsibility now? Individuals must take ownership of their well-being by making conscious decisions about how they allocate their time, their energy, and then they respond to workplace demands. There should be personal discipline and self-awareness. These are very critical to sustaining work-life harmony. Right, daily habits for harmony. I try to put something here, and then there's that chart that we're explaining. But those daily habits include that things that include structured routines, scheduled breaks, intentional downtime. Downtime, you know that I'm out and fatigued, I can't be focused again now, so I just decide to take a break. Everybody needs a break. That is why the human nature is wired in such a way that we sleep. But there are some people that take on the role of, there's only one person that neither sleep nor slumber, and that is our creator, God. But people that take on that role, they will neither sleep nor slumber, but breakdown is waiting for them in front, because we are wired to rest. And rest, we'll talk about it, is something that is really very medicinal. Consistent reflection significantly improve long-term outcome in balance. Okay, in work-life balance, all right. So stress management, of course, all of this leads to stress management. So we can do stress management in various forms, and that includes mindfulness practices, being mindful of what we take on, schedules that we agree to do, breathing exercises, some that believe in yoga and all of that, physical activity, and structured relaxation techniques that help to regulate emotional responses and improve resilience. I will take them one by one if there are questions specific to them. So stress management, you can have to look at relaxation techniques, deep breathing, we talked about that, listening to music, mindful walking, stretching, journaling, enjoying a warm drink. It's not in this chart, but I will add it, taking a cold bath or a cool bath or a warm bath, depending on the temperature where the individual is. It actually helps a lot. We used to say that taking a good bath can give you as much as 1 hour sleep. Just bathing after a stressful day, it will give you what is equivalent to 1 hour full sleep. Okay, so importance of sleep. Now, let's talk about this sleep. Adequate sleep enhances cognitive performance, emotional regulation, and physical health. Poor sleep is strongly associated with reduced productivity, increased stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. We know all of those negative emotions, depressions and irritability and all of that. So sleep is important for everybody. You can take time to read this, but I'll just pick a few from this chart that everyone needs to sleep. If you look at adults, the time interval for adults to sleep is recommended that between 7 to 9 hours per day, and older adults above 65, 7 to 8 hours or 7 to 9 hours if they are fit to work like a regular adults. So we need to set specific time to go to bed and then specific time to wake up. Then make sure your bedroom is quiet and all that. So we need sleep. Some individuals will tell you, I don't sleep this particular hours. The brain is structured in a way that it needs rest so that it can get back and start working at full capacity again. So sleep is very important. And in case you have been shortchanging yourself as a professional, not sleeping at least up to 7 hours per day, you can readjust your time and sleep well. All right, physical activity and well-being as a way of impacting on well-being. Regular exercise improve energy levels, reduces stress, enhances mood, and supports overall physical and mental well-being. It should be a key component of work-life harmony. It's recommended that physical activity for adults 16 to 64 years of age should have at least 30 minutes, 2 hour, 30 minutes, that is 150 minutes week of moderate intensity, or 1 hour, 15 minutes, that is 75 minutes week of vigorous intensity per week. Some will tell you 3 days in the week, exercise for 30 minutes each as moderate. Adults 65, greater than 65 can follow the adult guidelines or be physically active as possible. For additional health benefits where we find that physical exercise, physical activity is therapeutic. For example, people that have cardiovascular illnesses or diabetes or obesity and all of that, 5 hours, that is 300 minutes per week of moderate intensity of physical activity is recommended, or 2 hours and 30 minutes, 150 minutes per week of vigorous exercise. But before the professional will engage in vigorous exercise, please check with your the doctor, your health professional, to see if you have you are capable of that vigorous activity. Else, vigorous activity can trigger another round of breakdown entirely. All right. So for work-life balance, work-life harmony is important for us to eat healthy. A lot of professionals nowadays, because of the nature of work, you just grab a snack here, grab a snack there, and then you are good to go. Maybe eat one good meal in a day. But healthy eating improve energy, focus, and productivity at work. Be intentional about your eating. If it is possible, take your cooked meal from home to work as lunch and not the fast food for lunch every day, which cumulatively will affect the health of that individual. So balanced nutrition support emotional well-being and stress management. Good eating habits help prevent fatigue, burnout, and lifestyle diseases. We've mentioned some of them earlier. How do you do that? Eat balanced meals with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and proteins. Stay hydrated by drinking enough water throughout the day. If you have noticed, if you are very much stressed and you can't focus much, just take a glass of water or a few glasses of water and relax. You'll find that after a while, your focus gets sharper and then you're able to do more. So we must drink water as much as possible during the work period. Avoid skipping meals, especially breakfast. That is not a way of losing weight. Skipping meals is actually, when it becomes cumulative, is deleterious on our health. Limit excessive caffeine, because people use caffeine most time to stay awake and focused. Avoid sugary or reduce sugary drinks and processed food. Practice portion control and mindful eating. Not to say, since morning I've not eaten, I just want to take this food now, and then you now overfill the plates. So our food should have a good mix of grains, vegetables, fruits, and then all the other food groups. Social connection, strong social relationship provide emotional support, reduce stress, and contribute to a sense of belonging and well-being. Maintaining social connection is essential for holistic balance. Financial well-being. How does this concern work-life harmony? Is very, very important, because financial stability reduces stress and enables individuals to focus more effectively on both professional and personal goals. Planning and budgeting are essential components of overall well-being. Financial well-being and stability is very important because it can be a major source of distraction, thereby leading to disruption in work-life harmony. Remote work dynamics, I think I'm getting towards the end now. Remote work offers flexibility and autonomy, but we must recognize that it also requires strong self-discipline, structured routine, and clear boundaries to prevent overworking and burnout. As beautiful, as sweet, and as comfortable or convenient, time-saving, perhaps money-saving as remote work can be, we must recognize that all of these things must be put in place in order to prevent disharmony that will lead to overworking and burnout. Okay, remote work, there are pros, there are cons to it, but we will always say make sure that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages in order to be maximally for it to maximally benefit you. Else, what one is trying to save by doing remote work becomes a means of setting in of some
Can you just try and
illnesses.
study of the
You
next
know.
5 minutes? Hello, man. I know you have a lot, so we can take the go back
Okay,
to planning.
okay. So
Thank you, man.
okay,
Yeah.
so what are we to do? Thank you so much, Prof. I will try and wrap up now. What are we to do with all of this information? Every professional must try to build a personal plan. You need to set your priorities, develop structured routines, and then evaluate over and over again. And so what are the steps to follow in building a personal plan to work-life harmony? Assess yourself. Every individual is different. Set your goals based on what you've discovered. Develop strategies, gather resources, create timeline, track progress, and revise over and over again. All right, I'll skip that. Common mistakes include overcommitting, neglecting rest, poor prioritization, lack of boundaries, and ignoring early signs of burnout. Yes, there are tools and technologies, but we must recognize that these are not to take the place of self-discipline. Participants, what are to be our takeaway? Should reflect on their current level of work-life harmony, identify key stressors, and determine one actionable change they can implement. Remember, we talked about our commitment. So at least one actionable change that can implement immediately and begin to revise it over time. So what are our takeaways from this talk? Work-life harmony requires intentional integration, continuous adjustment, commitment to personal well-being, and small consistent changes can produce significant changes that will lead to overall benefits. We need to set boundaries, we need to prioritize our well-being, we need to recognize downtime, and then support. So we have talked about that. Our action plan, at least identify something to do, be consistent with that thing, that change, monitor progress regularly, and adjust strategies as needed. So in conclusion, achieving work-life harmony is a continuous journey that requires balancing structure with flexibility, aligning professional goals with personal values, and maintaining a commitment to well-being. Thank you very much for your listening attention.
Wow. Thank you so much. Let's applaud her quickly. Just applaud her as we can now go on to the second. Please, I know you have a lot to ask now because everything she talks touches us one way or the other. But we just go on to the second one, which is the part of the thing, measure for digital paradox. So Dr. Chinwe, we just go. We take us quickly now. But Doc, please can stop sharing while we take you.
Yes, I want to stop.
Let's keep all our comments coming so that we take them at the same time. Because it's actually whether the AI is causing part of the stress or, or not. So Chiwe, I'll go back to you, man. Again, clap and welcome to the Chiwe, please, with our digital hands. So please, like I said, whether you're here on YouTube or on Zoom, let's keep our comment coming. We'll take them together. Okay, Chinwe, you have this space. Thank you so much, man.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Prof, and thank you for this opportunity. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma. Okay, I hear you.
Okay, please confirm what you see. It's important.
Session 2, AI and the future of work, navigating professional growth in a digital world.
Thank you, sir. So you're welcome to session 2 of episode 2, AI and the future of work. And I titled it Navigating Professional Growth in a Digital World. My name remains Chinwe Peace Igiri. I'm a senior lecturer and acting director of Open Distance and e-learning. All those are part of what are displayed here. Here are the outlines, the reality we share, AI and future work, future-ready skills, the 3-layer productivity model, practical
I'm sorry,
AI
I'm still seeing the old screen. Okay, there we go.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
okay. Okay. Then we'll move on to responsible AI. And then what is your next step? Let's begin here. How many of us are so proud of being busy? We have just finished a very interesting section about being worked out, being burnout. A lot of us, we take delight in seeing busy as evidence of relevance. In fact, we glorify exhaustion. For us, for some people, they celebrate overload. Some people even think of answering emails or phone calls at night, and to them is commitment. What if some of this work consuming us no longer deserves our human energy? Today's session, or this second session, is not about tools alone. We're going to discuss tools, but we want to ask ourselves a very interesting question. Is the way we currently work still worthy of the life is taking, or the life and the time is taken from us? Let me start with this familiar story. Some of us here may know about this. There's a professional that works in 2 different universities. We just heard about remote work and stuff like that. She works in 2 different universities. One is remotely and one is physical. And she has a very heavy teaching workload, including supervision. In fact, in one semester, in one section, she supervises over 20 to 30 undergraduate students, excluding postgraduate students, that's master's and PhD. She's also she's also the director of Open Distance and e-learning in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, Open Distance and e-learning functions or operates like a standalone and autonomous university. it has its own governing board, it has its own calendar, so it's a whole workload. She conducts research and voluntary services. She has a family. Above all, she's a lifelong learner because she wants to stay abreast of technology so that she will not be teaching obsolete technology in the class. According to her, she said, I was becoming efficient at surviving, but not effective at evolving. So can you quickly, if you can go to the Mentimeter session, you can scan the QR code. The link to this session, if you don't want to scan the QR code, the link to this session is shared in our WhatsApp group. So let me quickly open the Mentimeter session. Can you see my screen on the Mentimeter session? Oh, please, can you confirm what screen you are?
Yes.
Mentimeter, right?
Yes, you can see it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me start.
Okay, I will share the link here. So the link is also shown on the comments. You just click on
Okay,
it.
so we have 19 persons joined. Let me remove this. Yes, which part of this story feels closest to your current reality? Yes, we have one person said, I carry many responsibility and feel stressed. 4 persons said, I want to publish, but I struggle with time and structure. And 2 persons said, I want to use AI, but I do not know where to start. And nobody said, I worry that my current skill may not remain enough. Nobody said that. Then 4 persons said, I am productive, but often exhausted. Okay, so we have 13 out of 24 responded to this. Okay, let's go back to, some responses are still coming. We will not take so much time there anymore. Let me continue. So the reason for this that session, I just wanted us to have a feel of what some people are going through. Let's see it together. That is why today's conversation is important. The real issue is not about being an expert. The real issue is that many professionals are extremely busy. They are operating at the limit of their energy. And unfortunately, they are using obsolete approach, using workflows that no longer match modern demands. We heard it in the first session. A lot of professionals are overloaded, trying to remain relevant while overloaded. And that could be crazy. AI matters because it forces us to rethink how work should be done. We need to rethink how our work should be done. There are some work that requires human depth, and there are some works that merely consumes our human time. So how do we structure this? The future work we are talking about, I've categorized them into 2. One is the routine intelligence, and the second one is human intelligence. So which work fall under routine intelligence? Any task that is repetitive, any task that is structured, any task that is pattern-based. And these type of tasks are usually easy to automate. And how about the human intelligent type of work? For the future work, those tasks that requires judgment, creativity, ethics, mentorship, interpretation, and context. So our ability to identify which task belongs to where is where the future lies. The future will not only reward people who work hard, but people who work smart. The future will reward professionals who can distinguish routine intelligence from human intelligence. I don't want us to go back to this session now because of time. We may go back to it after now. So let's look at future-ready skills. What are the future-ready skills? The skills that matter in this AI era. Start with the judgment and critical thinking skill. Of course, we know that AI can give you an answer, but can you recognize what is shallow from that answer? What is biased? What is incomplete? What is misleading? This is judgment. And that is a critical skill required in this century we find ourselves. What about digital fluency? Digital fluency is not about knowing every tool. No. It is knowing how to integrate technology or tools meaningfully into your workflow. Then the next skill is the ethics. The ethics skill. Just because AI can generate something that you know how to prompt AI very well and it generates something for you, doesn't mean that it should be trusted. In fact, these days we are building a lot of machine learning or AI application where we integrate explainable AI to it. And the reason for it, one of the reasons for it is so that people can trust AI. It doesn't mean that whatever the AI gives to you should be trusted. You should just copy and paste, we know that, or rather publish it. I told one of my students to draft something and share with me, and he just went to AI, copied it and shared with me. And I was just wondering, is something wrong with him? Even with all the shout and talking and counseling I'm giving to them in the class. The next important skill is creativity skill. The professionals who will stand out are not those who knows how to use or generate most content. They are those who can generate original insights, meaningful insights, and contextual solution. That's creativity. That you know how to use any of these tools. But how about your creativity? Another very important skill in this for the future ready skill is adaptability. How do we evolve in the changing system and the expectations around us? The future will not only reward people who knows the tool or who knows how to use the tool, it will reward people who build certain human capabilities alongside with the tools they can use. There's one thing about us in the global South. We have learned we are naturally adaptable. This is not to our disadvantage. In fact, it is to our advantage. Because some of us, we often think that we are far behind. True, in quotes, we are behind, but I don't fully agree to that because that adaptability can be reframed. Professionals in the global South already know how to work under pressure. They already know how to navigate constraints, adapt quickly, produce results despite limitations around us. And what do we gain from this? Adaptability as part of the future AI is becoming one of the most important skills in this AI era. This brings us to the productivity framework. I've structured this into three main layers. Number one is the survival work. These are tasks that consume our energy but do not require deep thinking. Tasks like formatting, repetitive summary, repeated drafting, starting every task from a blank page. These are survival work. Then you go to the next layer, supported work. These are tasks AI can help you structure. AI can help you structure them, accelerate them. This includes your lecture notes, your lecture outline, even your supervision feedback drafts. You can use a tool to do that. Literature mapping, AI can help you do that. Proposal structuring, you can do that with AI, as well as your writing plans. Then you have the most important framework. That's the last one, the human work. The human work, these are work that defines your long-term value in this AI era, in the future AI. This includes the judgment, mentorship, I mentioned them earlier. Our future work depends on how much time we spend in layer 3 and how much time do we gain by getting more time from layer 1 and layer 2 and focusing that in layer 3. I've created 3 workflows here, one for grant writing, the other one for lecture note development, another one for literature review and research writing. But here is the core principle. The core principle is not just how to use this tool. However, for me, my goal is not to surrender my thinking to AI. No, I don't do that. Not even to replace the human intelligence, because it cannot, AI cannot replace human intelligence. Rather, my goal or our goal should be, how do we redesign our workflow intelligently? Therefore, the core principle is stop wasting human intelligence on avoidable cognitive labor. Avoidable. So let's start with grant writing workflow. Here are some of the tools that could support you in writing your grant application. You have different levels of the grant writing. You have the ideation. You can use your Gemini, you can use ChatGPT for brainstorming, for ideation, and even for structuring or structural development. How will this support you? It will support you because it can help you outline, reframe your ideas, organize content efficiently. Then research synthesis. Research synthesis, you can use tools like Cloud, connected to consensus. Consensus, because this will help you build an evidence-grounded literature. Then the next category is the research workflow. Cloud Skill can help you organize how you can write your research. You have completed your analysis and you want to write your research. Cloud Skill can help you do that. Then you have academic verification. Yes, sometimes we just go to, some students go to ChatGPT, they want to write literature review and they're looking for literature. They just go and ask ChatGPT or any of those Gemini to suggest for them literature. Definitely it would suggest for you, but it's important that we verify these contents through established databases like Scopus, Web of Science, if you have access to it. But we have access, everyone have access to, as long as you have internet, have access to Google Scholar. So at least try as much as possible to verify your content using Google Scholar. So it is very important to do that. Then grant analysis. You know, you're writing a grant and you need to analyze what exactly does this funders want. You can use the Google LLM tool. It will help you to extract the grant priorities. Just pick the grants, the call, give it to Google LLM and ask it some certain questions. It will extract exactly what you want. It will help you to identify the founder's expectation, the themes, the compliance requirements, and if there are some existing projects they have founded, these founders have done, you can use Google LLM to extract this. Then the next category is research grounding. How do you, when you are preparing your proposal, you need a previous research output, which you have written before, because there should be a connectivity between what you have done before and what you intend to do. You can't just wake up from the moon and begin to write something. Yes, you can do that, but most time your work or your research will attract more funding if there's a connection between what you have done before and what you are doing now. So you have to connect the new proposal and the study to the existing expertise and scholarly direction or what you have done before. If you don't, personally, you can get collaborators that have worked in that area. These are tools you require. The funder's intelligence. You can use, yes, I've mentioned that earlier. You can use previously funded projects by those funders. So just go to their website, check for projects they have found, they funded, pull it to as part of your workflow and integrate it. It will help you to understand their priorities and the context. Then the last one is the human oversight, the human judgment. This is where you stand out. Here you have committed all these other parts, all the categories to tools. But now you have to be on your toe to make sure you are able to interpret, you're able to produce originality, and you're able to critique whatever these tools have given to you. This will help you to ensure ethical reasoning, contextual understanding, and intellectual ownership. Remember that you always be responsible for whatever you submit. Let's look at the second workflow, that is the lecture notes development workflow. Here is how you can use AI to support your teaching ecosystem. Content extraction. We can use Notebook LLM. Notebook LLM but you need to have access to textbooks, previous lectures you have done, and then pull all this into the Notebook LLM. Establish resources, pull this to Notebook LLM, extract and organize the academic contents from there. This will help you to synthesize the material, the lecture resources, and include even the uploaded textbooks you have uploaded to the Notebook LLM. It will help you to do that. Academic credibility. These resources you have downloaded into Notebook LLM. You have to verify the resources. Make sure that they are correct, because it will help you to ensure that quality. In fact, you know one thing, anything you give to ChatGPT, it must give you a response. And so how do you know what is good and differentiate between what is right and what is wrong? It is by ensuring that you are feeding it with verifiable resources, academic resources. What about your voice preservation? You can use your previous lecture notes as scripts. It will help you to preserve your voice and your style, instructional style. This will help to maintain consistency, personality, and education identity, even when you are using AI-assisted materials. Structuring and outlining, you need ChatGPT. It can very, very perfect for structuring and outlining workflows, lecture notes. It can help you to present your lesson organization, learning outcome, examples, even activity designs. What about visual? If you have visual learners, there are some students that don't like, excuse me, they are visual learners. They can be glued to the screen when they are visual learners, when they see visuals like mind map, infographics. So you can use tools like XMind for your infographic and concepts mapping. Then live engagement, you can use a tool like Mentimeter, the one we just used now. You can use Slido, you can use Google Form. It's just that Google Form is not as interactive as the Mentimeter and Slido. This can help you for real-time integration and reflection. Then interacting learning, you can use tool like Nearpod. Nearpod is free, at least for 40 users. If you have 40 learners, you can go for free. You can help you to prepare your lesson interactively, such that in between your slides, or in between your presentation, you can have an activity section on that slide. So the student must complete that activity section before they continue the next one. All these are embedded in Nearpod. Nearpod can help you achieve that. What about content delivery? You can use Moodle, you can use PowerPoint, and This can help you to support your lecture delivery seamlessly and integrated into institutional learning management system. Then let's look at the last one, that is research. I saw someone that said is interested in writing, in researching, but I think he said she or said he doesn't have time for it. So you can use tools to help you. One of them is for evidence grounding. I always talk about this cloud connected to consensus, because if you use cloud connected to consensus, anything it gives you, 99% is always accurate, because consensus has about 250 million published reviewed articles in their database. So when you connect your cloud to it, you are sure of whatever resource is correct, but there must be a human oversight to verify it. Then for your structural workflow, you can use the cloud AI. It has a skill feature where you can write a prompt, present it like a skill, and it will help you to use it to write your own literature or write your own research. Then for literature screening, you can use the Ryan AI. I just came across this tool recently, Ryan AI. It's very, very interesting. It can help you for screening seamlessly. It will help you for organizing, comparing research papers. Very, very interesting tool. You can try it out. Then for literature synthesis, once you get your literature from verifiable sources, pull it to Notebook LM. It can help you to extract it can help you to do thematic extraction, synthesis, and even comparison. Excuse me. Academic verification, I've mentioned that earlier before, the same applies in this context. Then above all, there must be human oversight. The human oversight is where you sit down and make sure to verify that this work is original. You can interpret it and you can also critique it. I think that will be all for this session. The key insight here is the future researcher is not the one who reads most paper, no, but is the one who synthesizes insight most effectively. I'm almost rounding up. Reflection. What do you think should happen when you use all these tools supported by the human intelligence? You will save several minutes of repetitive tasks and cognitive efforts. They will disappear. Not because the human intelligence became became unnecessary, but because the human intelligence should be preserved for more higher order critical thinking or critical thinking tasks. Ethics and on responsible AI use. One, AI can assist, accelerate, it can structure, and it can also suggest. But we need human to verify, to judge, to interpret, and even to remain accountable for whatever content AI is giving you. Here are the ethical anchors. One, transparency. Number two, accountability. Number three is human oversight, intellectual integrity. In all this, responsible AI practice is not about rejecting AI. No, it's about ensuring that efficiency never replaces ethics and speed never replaces wisdom. Remember, I started with a story. So I'm returning to that story now. So at some point, the professional eventually stopped asking, how do I work harder? But started asking which part of my work truly require my creativity, interpretation, and judgment. That professional is me. It's not a makeup story. That is me. AI did not remove any of my responsibility. I am still very busy, but I no longer want to be merely efficient at surviving. I want to be effective at evolving. And that is my invitation to you today. Do not become someone who simply uses AI, but become a professional who know what to automate, what to refine, and what must remain deeply human. When the first presenter was presenting, she mentioned about a model, and what quickly came to my mind, I put it in the chat there, is this can be automated such that you can just use it. For you to use that, you don't need to sit down and start thinking, which by just imputing your schedule into a tool, it will tell you what should be, what should remain in different quadrangle, or what is it called? So what part of your work is consuming your time, your life, without deserving your deepest intelligence? What will you do differently this week? Final reflection. The future is not, it doesn't belong to those who do everything manually anymore. Neither will it belong to those who will surrender everything to AI, but it will belong to those who learn how to protect the human depth, even in the age of AI. AI disclosure. This presentation was developed with support from AI tools. And these tools are ChatGPT, Cloud, Consensus, Notebook, Element, LLM. AI, most of the images are generated with AI tools. And some of them are used for content structuring. The idea was actually mine, but it was used for content structuring, visual creation, information synthesis. All materials were reviewed, adapted, and validated by me, the presenter. Final responsibility for all content remains with the presenter. Thank you.
Aha, plenty. Wow, wow. Now we have a lot to choose, guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Chinwe. Thank you so much, Dr. Imolopi. Now, before us, we have to, but one of the keywords that came from the first one is the issue of a digital paradox. And Q has made the paradox more paradoxical. So there's some comments on the chat, but if you have a burning comment coming, I want to share insights on how all of this goes. For the first one, how do you balance your mental health? How do you avoid human errors? And you now come, how do you manage AI with all of these things, so many tags for you? How many of them can be automated? How many of them can you say that you can keep your human intelligence? You can raise your hand. I will acknowledge your hands. And then before we now go to the comments, on this question on the comments, so you can raise your hand and we recognize you. And but let's appreciate two of them. It's been very wonderful. So we have some time to discuss this we're actually in Q&A. Let's you can raise your hand, we acknowledge you. In the meantime, my media people ask me, let's take brief that you can put on your video, that would be great, so we can take the video screenshot, please. If you can on your video, that would be great, so wherever you are. So we'll just take a very quick screenshot. But let's keep the comment coming. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks so much, presenter. Thank you so much, Angela. More, let's take more. Except in a place that is not videoable, otherwise we can get your videos coming. Thank you so much, Patience Olabiri. Thank you so much, darling. All the way from US, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. You can put in a video, that'd be great. Kwado, I think that's from Kenya. Thank you so much, Adeze. Thank you so much. Let's get more. Abiwa, I hope I can get a video. Mohammed, you can put your video, just video, not your voice now, your video. Stanley from Malawi, all of us, Rosemary, and wherever I come from, ENTS from, okay, I wanted more to join, but let's take the ones we have so that we don't waste time. I can go to Q&A to chew all of these that have come our way from two different worlds, actually, from the human medical world and then from the digital world. How do we balance that, which is why we are here. And like I said earlier, if you have a question, raise your hand. We call upon you to, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm done with that. Yes, if you have a comment now or question, raise your hand. We will acknowledge your hand, and then we go. Thanks for Victor Gidi. Okay. So raise your hand. You ask it, or you can just write it again on the comment section. We just take that quickly. Anybody has raised? Let me check. Let me check. Whose hand is raised? Okay. While we are raising hand, let's take some question on the comment section. There's some comments that have been. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Stanley. Richard. Thanks so much, Stanley. Okay, I think it's good. Okay, there's one by. Let's start for the last one. Adedoyin Akinola is asking Dr. Chinwe. I would like to ask that which AI tool can assist us with data analysis and interpretation? That's one. Which AI tool can assist us? You talk about many things. But another challenge is I will ask that for this one slide you did today, you used about 5 AI tools. How do I master all of this? It's not much more. Going back again to the first presenter, won't I also reduce, well, she mentioned for a brain overload. Won't that cause more brain overload? I need to now manage myself on 5 AI tools just to get one slide presented. So that's another thing you can combine to ask that maybe two of you can take that question that is being asked by Adedoyin Akinola and I've asked again. So let me take one more question where we can take them together. Yeah, human intelligence should be preserved for higher order thinking. Okay, that's that one. How do I know which of the task that is meant for human intelligence? How do I know which one's for? There's another question from Dr. Promise. That's to Dr. Gloria Himonopi. He said, thanks so much for wonderful position. Achieving work-life harmony seems so difficult for me. How can one practically achieve this as a professional? Why you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a minister, you are a sibling, you are auntie, you are cousin, you are nephew, you are niece. How do you, and then where society, in a global society, where economic status restricts one from the delegating work. I think let's take some of these ones. Because they're becoming, I don't know, any of you can jump. Actually, the two topics are actually mutually inclusive. So any of you can jump on where we'll take more questions. Chinwe, Madam Gloria Imonopi, over, any of you can jump on this and we're going. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. The questions really are very interesting and thought-stimulating. Okay, let me start from Dr. Promise. She talked about how does one maintain a work-life balance in the face of all these divergent rules. And she quickly added, I must say, where the economy does not allow you to delegate, because I'm going to start by saying that, well, one thing we should learn to do is to let our money work for us, send our money on errand to help us relieve some of this stress, like getting someone to do something, the school runs, do the house cleanup, and then if you have students as a lecturer, delegating some work for them to do. But by and large, I think it is priority that will determine what one puts their attention per time. And priority driven by the end product, which is that, am I going to be healthy enough? Because he's a healthy person that talks about meeting deadlines. He's a healthy person that talks about having a output and outcomes that are sustainable. So set priorities in a personalized form. Yes, most of all those I say, oh, matrix and all that, they may sound theoretical, but really, I find personally that doing a to-do list on a daily basis helps a lot. Take a few minutes at the beginning of the day. Yes, you may not be able to, and identically, you may not be able to meet everything on that item. You must be a super person to meet that as it were. But prioritizing and having a focus that this is what I have to do for today, that could help. So those are suggestions I've made. One, that be conscious of your health, be conscious of your priorities per time, and then make conscious efforts to set goals that are achievable. I think we talk about SMART, right? Girls that are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are realistic, and they are time-bound. That could help even in our daily schedules. And as a woman, a lot of things are competing for our action. Gone are the days that we belong to the other room. A lot of things as professionals, as mothers, the expectations are high. So one just has to set priorities per time, and going at it daily could help. Long term, short term, God will help every one of us. I hope I've been able to shed some light on that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Having a daily to-do list. I think that's me personally. Once I get to, I'll do it weekly and daily. And also like this, I have my list for the week. Then every day, what I do personally, I'm most effective in the morning. Like you mentioned, you should know when you are balanced between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. I'm my most productive time, so I don't put meetings there. So I work on the morning, 7 a.m. I'm in the office. I look on my to-do list and then begin to pitch. So that helps me to manage time. When somebody comes to the office to talk to you, you say, please, I'm sorry, I have a. So you have to minimize error terms, which is knowing separating the minors from the major. That's all. But there's another question again. Chiwe, I want to add to that from what I've said. There's another question again from Rosemary. That's Chiwe.
Prof has answered that
Okay,
because
there's
that
another
is
question
our
now.
area.
Yeah, I think this is for two of you now. She talk about she probably mentioned that you can also allow money to work for you. You know, early careers, the money is not even enough. How do you can now allocate money to work for you? That's the conclusion. There's somebody's asking, thank you very much for your insightful and excellent presentation. Good AI tools are paid. Will these tools not be so expensive for Africans, considering their low pay package? Madam Chiwe, talk about cloud, talk about Gemini, talk about ChatGPT, all of them. The ones that are effective are paid for. How will early career, like many of them, us here, afford it and become efficient? So that's an issue of just like what Managlora mentioned, that financial stress can also be a very good stress. Also, if you can also allow your money to work for you and delegating, having an ROEs to work with you. Combine that with money. How do we combine that financially inclined stress with AI tool that can need you to pay money every month? How do you do that for Erica? Chiwe.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you for those questions. AI tools are expensive. I agree with you, but there are open source tools. Open source tools like ChatGPT, Gemini. Now, you tell me there's a limit. You see, we Africans, we know how to adapt. And one of the things we do is you can create multiple accounts. So if your limit, if you exceed your limit in one account, use the other Google accounts and continue. By the time you finish that one, use another one. By the time you finish the other one and all of them exceed, come back to the other one. It would have reloaded for you and you start working. That's the adaptability we are talking about. And so a lot of AI tools that are free, they are there. And they can help you do as much as you can do with the free tools, the paid tools. Like this Rayan AI I talked about, it is free. It can help you structure your systematic literature review seamlessly, but you just need to understand how to use it. We are talking about lifelong learning. What else? Which other question is there? Okay, someone asked a question about data analysis and interpretation tool. Yes, something like is it Vivo AI? I'm not into data analysis. For non-numerical data, you can use that. I can search that for you. NVivo AI. It can help you for thematic analysis. In fact, Notebook LM is very, very good for thematic analysis and interpretation. Then if you're going for numerical analysis, you can go for Python. You can tell me, I don't know how to write code. Gemini will help you write the code. Just know how to speak the English to Gemini. It will write the code for you. We call it vibe coding. And you get your analysis done. Or you can even join our data analysis class. We'll show you how to do that. Which other question is there? Any other one?
Is that for now? We'll take some more. Okay, I think for data analysis, you have answered that. We have cards. I think the next edition will be announced very soon. There's one question that just came in now. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. So promise to answer, but it will really help us. I've learned that health is wealth. It should be prioritized. Yes, because health, like Madam Gloria mentioned, even if you go forbid that you fought today, it's just 1 minute silence. But one thing that showed me that even when the president of the nation died on seat, the nation didn't stop. So imagine number one in the nation. So if you're not there, the work will not, the heaven will not fall. So don't make yourself like you must please everybody, but do your best and then leave the rest for God. So there's another again. Okay, that's for Usma, well done, Prof, and the two presenters. I'm really appreciative of both presentations, particularly the first one where work-life harmony is discussed. If more awareness is put on this, colleagues will interact more in harmony in the organization. How can we create the awareness? Wow, Madam Gloria, this after that, even in the workplace, you tell your boss, okay, I'm tired, let me rest. Say, please do it now, or you face the music. How do you balance such harmony, even when not in an organization? How do we allow even our colleagues to understand the more balance, even our bosses? I don't know, from your experience as head of department before, as board member of medical college, how do we create more awareness that even within the organization, people understand the essence of work-life balance? I don't know whether you can answer that, Madam Gloria.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. And thank you, Mr. Usman, for the question. Well, I'll just make an attempt because, like in public health, there's a strategy that we talk about that is advocacy. Advocacy is like you are trying to make somebody swallow a bitter pill, maybe by sugarcoating it. You know, sometimes you want to give your children a bitter medicine, and you first of all carry vitamin C, the sweetened one, and give them, then you now give them the bitter one. So advocacy in the sense that a lot of management, that's why during the presentation we talked about the organizational role. A lot of organizations find that maybe spending on health could be expensive or time wasting or compromising the time they would have used to work for the company. By advocacy in the sense that, well, in good workplaces, they have staff unions, although I understand that in some places they don't just listen to them, but it is that letting the organization know that on the long run, they stand to benefit more by having a workforce that is healthy than having a workforce that is always at the end of the string, having burnout, and then they have to disengage, then they have to recruit again. So it's talking to them through the staff union. We have that a lot in the public sector. In the private sector now, I think it's still the same software advocacy, talking to those that matter about things that should be done and even modeling it to them also. For example, there's nothing wrong, like in my workplace now, because of some things that were observed, every Wednesday, the physiotherapy unit organizes workout sessions, gym for the workers. So they come in as early as 7 a.m. A staff will come in, depending on the shift you are in, regularly at 8. For those that are doing overnight will have come earlier. So the people, even the general public around, they join the members of staff in doing that workout. That came from like a decade ago. We did a staff auditing, medical audits, and found that a lot of staff were working in the hospital setting where they had ceiling high blood pressures. They had undiagnosed diabetes and all of that. So a fallout was this aspect of now saying, okay, this is free. Every Wednesday morning between 7 and 8 a.m., you are free to come and do the workout around the compound before work starts by 8. So those are things that should be, that can be put into place. So it's still advocacy, telling people, management leadership, that this is appropriate to do, and then the staff be ready also to maybe do some other things to make up for that time interval. Yeah, I think I will put that in. Thank you. I'm sorry, before I leave that point, now most
Go on.
workplaces have WhatsApp group. Yes, most workplaces have WhatsApp groups and social media handles and all of that. So a lot of these things can be put there too. And then over time, some impact hopefully will be made to make the management and organization do something about it. Thank you. Over.
Okay, over. There was one person that asked, I think that's also for Gloria, that what all of this matrix work schedule applies to postgraduate students or not. I think I tried to put a comment there, but you can also respond.
Okay.
This work-life balance, whether it applies to even students, because they are not working per se. What are you, ma? Hello, ma.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
You are back now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I said it also applies to students. They are as human as every other person. And it's a good way to start so that when you enter the regular workforce, you'll have had a good foundation that you can build on.
Okay, great.
So,
Go on, ma. Are you done?
yes, I'm done. Just to say that it applies to students as well. It even makes your work more organized.
Yeah, it applies to yes, because you also need, like I mentioned, anybody that they want to be healthy, it requires work-life balance. You also want to do well your studies. You need to also plan when to read, when best you as a student, you should know when best you read better for assimilation, whether at night or early morning. And also you have timelines. Your supervisors want you to do return a studies assignment, even your lecturers. How do you want to balance all of that? So it's applicable to students. And let's check YouTube whether there's any comment on YouTube. So I don't leave out. Check YouTube whether there are comments on YouTube. Let's check comments on YouTube. Okay. I think we are almost done with all the questions. We have still some few minutes remaining. We have any other question? For the slide that was already shared during the YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you have the slide already. So it's already shared. The slide was used during the YouTube session. So with that, you have all the slides right there on YouTube as we shared. Okay, let me, before we go to the closing session, let me see if we have other comments. Yes. Okay, Chinwe, we're asking this, is it a Jehovah matrix that we can automate it? Do you want to see, Dr. Chinwe and maybe Dr. Gray will come in? All of the 4 matrices that she mentioned, which one should I postpone, disregard, disengage? How do you want to automate that? If it's mentioned in a comment that you can automate the 2. Dr. Chinwe, do you want to share light on that?
Yeah, I said we can develop a tool that can automate it. All it will just do is you enter your various tasks, and I don't know how it works, but before you can build an AI application, you need to have the domain expertise. So you can design it based on the domain expertise. And so when someone wants to use it, a user wants to use it, you just enter those tasks. It will classify it automatically where it should be. But I think it's something, because for me, looking at that quadrant, it appears to be something you can automate and use.
Okay, I think the thing we can take forward from here. I think maybe we'll see how we can work on. If that would be nothing that direct, because I want is to make harness knowledge for something like see that one of the deliverables that we this 7.0 we come out with, that would be great. So we look to that, maybe we'll discuss it further with Dr. Monopi, and from the medical angle, give us the quadrant. You from the AI, we can now give us the algorithm, and then we from policy angle can now balance it. So I think the thing, I'll follow with 2 of you and see how we can actually work on that. That would be very great. Thank you so much. And there's a question again from Dr. Promise. Thank you. Say to Dr. Monopin, please, ma, can a policy be designed and be implemented on work-life balance so that employers and employees can know their limit, so that they will say, ma, in Nigeria balance, they won't they will not overdo. So how do we, I don't know you have that. There's a question from Ms. Dr. Gloria. Are you there?
Hey, Prof, thanks so much. Well, I just saw it and I was just laughing because I can imagine the context in which it is being asked. But I know that in occupational health, that we have a lot of policies. The problem with Nigeria is not that we don't have policies; it's implementation that is the problem. We have a lot of policies. So, like in occupational health, we have like Factory Act, the Workman Compensation Law, and all of that, that actually should put this in perspective. But you find that a lot of those things were enacted either the colonial period or immediate post-colonial period, and so they are obsolete, they are not exactly fitting in this our modern times, and so what to be done is to be reviewed. They all lie with the Federal Ministry of Health. So we continue talking, sit on the same advocacy issues that those things should be updated, and then everybody, workman compensation, the Factory Act. So any worker in any establishment, whether private or public, we know what is their rights and what they can demand from the workers. Their employers per time. I believe that will answer the question. They need to be updated. There are actually policies like this in the Federal Ministry of Health. Most of them are outdated. They need to be updated to fit in our present context. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. But we have some minutes remaining. We're good on time. But in case anybody has a question or comment, please, you can see keep and writing on the chat while we try to go through announcement and closing and plan to close the next we still have like 15 minutes. Thank you so much. So I think let's again clap for our presenter. They've done so much. It's eye-opening. I don't think we can go through all of that today, but I want to encourage us to go through this slide again because this is on YouTube, so that because I think we need it. Whether you are a student, whether you are a worker, whether you are professional, whatever you are, you need work-life balance because I see people carrying the laptop in their bed. Please don't stop recording yet. Okay, Chimo, your hand is raised. Is he?
Yes, Prof. And there's
Yeah.
a question, or there is a request from Dr. Promise Taris Onyema,
Yeah.
requesting for the AI to write. They will need a practical session. And you mentioned that we have a course applied data analytics, a course applied data science. Yeah, but for this practical session, he's talking about how to organize one. He's not the course applied data analysis is on data analysis, but for the tools like this grant writing, literature review, we can actually organize a session for it. In fact, that was what I had in mind. But when I look at 30 minutes, 30 minutes is not enough for me to teach just one workflow alone. I would have taken one workflow from beginning till the end. But 30 minutes is not sufficient. That's why I just mentioned them theoretically.
Okay. So yeah.
And then there's another question. I don't know where it came from. You mentioned it. Where someone was asking, how do we know which task to automate, to delegate to AI? But I think I heard a question like that. I don't know if it's from the YouTube. Yeah, tasks that are repetitive, that require pattern, that are structured, they should be automated. Delegate them to AI, and then focus on tasks that require your creativity, interpretation, judgment. That's my response to that. I think that's
Okay.
it.
Thank you so much. Okay, we still have a few minutes. So if you have something on in your heart, please check YouTube. Let's write it on the comments and please check YouTube as well. And so we have a few minutes. We'll take announcements while we try to close the next 12, 15 minutes. Okay, so next week we continue with another aspect that will be focusing on publishing for impact, mentorship, visibility, and scholarly influence that will be taken by Dr. Romanos and I was Dr. Aminat from University of South Africa. So like I said, it's same YouTube link, same time, and it's also streamed on YouTube, same Zoom link. So let's get set. It's going to be, there'll be presentation, also be a practical session. Let's get set for that next week. Then the program will continue on with episode 4 on the 14th of June, on with episodes 4, looking at collaboration as a career infrastructure, building networks. Like one of the ways to also maintain the issue of balance is to collaborate. You can't do anything alone. If you are good in data analysis, you are good in literature review, collaborate with others so that you bring your tools together, your strength together, and you make progress. These are what we're looking at during the episode 4 of this. That was the last one. Then we issue certificates to those who meet the requirements. Let me go there quickly to other announcements before we now go to closing remarks. So yeah, other announcements that, as I mentioned earlier, we have opportunity for those who want to take it further with the ASMN Premium membership. And so the onboarding, once you join, the benefit are there. Once you go to our website, you click join the network, you see all the benefit. And then once you onboard, you are given the premium badge. We call it as certified, and there are many other benefits there. Then for this as me 7.0, there's exercise. After last week, we gave exercise. Thanks to those who have done it. Others, please, it is open till the end of the session, end of the series. After today, by tomorrow or next, by God's grace, the exercise from this particular training for episode 2 for these two positions will be set as again. So also go to this. So these are the two requirements. One is to take the exercises, one to train, and the two is to also be a premium member to qualify for certificate. And they were with the batch 5 onboarding of our SME Premium is open, and it will remain open till June 21 because we are planning for onboarding. Maybe Chui, you mentioned that this maybe you can take a session during the onboarding that we are planning on the 28th of June. So this digital skill you mentioned today, we can have a session for it. Otherwise, we can create another webinar for make such skills to be usually for premium members. So let's get set to plan for the onboarding on 28th of June. And this is, so if you go to our website on the event page, you see the details there. Okay, so exercises are ready. It will be open till June 11th. So that those are we can get them prepared for the issuance. We should be issued on the 14th of June for those who meet the requirements. So let's all watch out for it. And while the onboarding for batch 5 Aspen Premier will be done by 28th of June, let's mark our calendar. Okay, so that's what you have. I'm pleased to announce that our institutional research journal is ongoing. We just published this week the volume 2 issue 1 just is already published on our website. So you go to the journal page, journal.diadeRC.org, you see there. So you and also receive it's open and it's also for free for now. So we are receiving information. So you go to the journal portal, is all of that you see the various scope, and be glad is a way to showcase your research to the labor world. And we're glad to know that you are is a member of cross reference. So community. So once any paper published has its own DOI, we're also a member of the OGS, the Open Journal Socks. So it's an open journal, and that's why we have our journal portal. And that program we have is package is our jobs portal that link employers to employees, so they check it out. Other ones is event and to announce is the forthcoming Best Data International Conference holding in October. The call is out, and we have already seen people like Nobel laureate 2024 as part of the speakers, or bringing people from the industry, from the academia, from agriculture, from the four main sectors. So it's going to be a very rich conference. And we're also making plans that paper presented in the conference be published. That Chibu mentioned the issue of the data science. We have done the episode CAT 2.0 will be announced very soon when there will be 3.0, maybe before this series ends. So these are some of the announcements that we should take note of. Okay, before we close finally now, let's take if there are final comments. We have 7 minutes remaining. If there are final comments from anyone. So final comments, otherwise I've called the facilitators for their final closing remarks from our wonderful facilitator today. If you have a very quick closing remarks. Yes, any quick comments? Let's check the YouTube page and comment page. Okay, thank you so much, because yeah, really, thanks so much. Yes, quick comments. Well, we have 6 minutes to go. Otherwise, we'll call on the presenter to give us their passing words, completing remark as experts from what I've said today. Closing remarks. Anybody can go to the channel to Monopoly, key takeaway. What they are commenting my key takeaway is to see how we can now two things. One is to see how we can work together to do this two that can help us to separate the, like even the people say that the artists are lawful, but not artists are expedient. How can we separate the lawful, not as expedient, not essential? The one that are, how do we? That's what we can work after now, and that is the how we can plan to have that digital skill for AI that have been said. So, quick comment from Chinwe and Dr. Gloria as we begin to close. If there's no more comment from our wonderful participants. Yes, ma. If you're talking, you're muted. Dr. Chinwe, you're muted. Dr. Gloria, you're muted. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the opportunity to give a last word. I think with all said and done, the onus is on every one of us to take our destiny in our hands and ensure that we are healthy. I like the way Dr. Promise quoted the popular maxim that health is wealth. And so every worker needs to take out time to set boundaries so that we don't need to get to a stage where, because if we don't set those boundaries now, our bodies will certainly react, but they will react in a devastating way. So we need to set boundaries, keep our priorities right, ensure we have resilience in order to keep healthy. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, set boundaries, set boundaries. You can't do all. You're not, somebody say, don't try to be like El Shaddai, else you shall die. Okay, thanks so much. Set boundaries and know when you are tired, know when you are there. When you're tired, please pause. Okay, thanks so much. Dr. Chiwe, in this AI, all the digital, we only have the balance all of this. Chiwe, are you there? You're muted. Dr. Chiwe, don't. Okay, if you're talking, you're muted, ma. Chiwe, you're muted. Oh, it's not AI that is meeting you. Okay. Why before you come, if there's any other, Darling Augustine, any final word from you? Thanks for joining today. We appreciate you seriously. Any final words? Darling, okay. Chinwe, I don't know whether it's AI that's meeting you or whatever it is, but I think we've come to full cycle. And so the next few minutes, we will stop now. So I will stop the recording on YouTube. Once again, thank you so much. Like we said, the session continues with the episode 3, and it promises to be so life changing. So let's get set. But those that say they want to publish, they want to co-author. So let's get that. This is episode 3. Episode 3 is that for us. Yeah. So the episode 3, let's get set for that. So same time, we'll start 7 a.m. Nigerian time, and then we go on to so not 7 p.m. Nigerian time. We go on to after presentation we go on to Q&A. That's episode 3. So same time, same channel, both on Zoom and on YouTube. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday. You can invite your friends so they can those that didn't register those that are registered, those that can join on Zoom, but those that didn't register can join on YouTube. So you can share the YouTube link for them and ask them to register so that they can join. So let me stop pause Zoom. Okay, once again, thank you so much, everyone. We sincerely appreciate you for your time. I know it's been worthwhile, and like we said, there's no way you can consume everything for now. So you were encouraged to go through it again before next week. And the exercise for today's session will be posted to us. Thank you so much, and enjoy your week. Have a blessed week. See you guys same time next week. Bye for now.